Welcome to another edition of Thorough Black Talk with your sister Keisha, your brother Tad, and your brother Ashe SJ. Will be joining us shortly, along with our brother Blacksmith on the check-in. Happy Black New Year to all of y'all. I know it's maybe a little belated because we were off, and I hope that you all are doing well so far this year. I hope the year is kicking off right for you and yours. And then of course, we wish you nothing but the best here on Thorough Black Talk. So we thought we'd come back the beginning of Black History Month and get things popping. You know, we're gonna add the live stream in the chat because we want y'all to join us. Let us know who some of your Black history heroes are, heroes and sheroes. We want to hear from y'all as well. So, of course, we're going to invite y'all on with us tonight later on. Shout out to Aunt Marie on the check-in. Me and Aunt Marie was getting down at Sylvia's. What was it, Sunday or Saturday? One of the two, I don't know. A BB for Hodier, Sister Farnessa. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Do y'all like the new background? You like that virtual background? We got a few. I'm just trying some out tonight. We got a few of them. So we're going to run through them tonight and see which one fits me, right. Brother Tad and Ashe are doing the same. And we're going to get them in here in a few minutes. What's up, Sister Joyce? How are you and Brother Monty? Did y'all start reading the book yet? We got to have a book club. We got to have a book club, and we're going to have to discuss that book because, I had to read a little bit, then put it down, read a little bit, and put it down. It really got on my daggone nerves with a lot of things, but we'll discuss that, later on in the coming months. We got some great guests lined up for you guys this month. Some positive things that are going on in our community. Brand new plant-based ordering. What do you call that? Uber Eats or DoorDash or whatever. I don't know. Next week they'll be here and they'll tell you all about their new restaurant. And then we have a new fashion house, Black-owned fashion house based out of Atlanta. Um, and we're gonna have him on the following week, and then we got some other guests, some other guests, and some other guests. It's about to be on and popping. Aunt Marie say, "Yeah, we gotta get that book club popping." Definitely, definitely, because I definitely have some books that I think you all will find quite interesting. I just picked up a book about um, the New York Kidnapping Club. You know, of course, you all know that slavery existed here in New York. One of the largest slave ports or slave auction ports was here in New York City along Wall Street. Um, but I don't know if you all know that there were also a lot of free black people here that were already here. And I know you all have seen the movie 12 Years a Slave or have heard of it. Of course, the story of Solomon Northam, um, who was kidnapped out of Saratoga, New York, and sent to the South to be enslaved. Now, here in New York, you had what you call the New York Kidnapping Club, right? Here you had NYPD, the mayor, Governor Marcy, um, the attorney general, all complicit in kidnapping black children, men, and women. And I started out by saying children because there was a brother here in New York at that time who did investigative research on the disappearance of black children, and that's when he came across the New York Kidnapping Club. Now, there are all types of documents that are in the New York's Historical Society and archives that confirm the complicity of the governor, the mayor, and the attorney general and the NYPD in kidnapping and selling free black people into enslavement. So, and this is why, I often say to you all, it's very important to learn the history in the city or municipalities in which you live. Because as this conversation of reparations continues to grow, if there were an edict, let's say it would happen, but if there was an edict that Black Americans would receive some sort of reparations, there are two things that you are going to have to know. One, the complicity of the municipalities that you reside in. Two, the legacy of your family's history. And so these are two things that I always encourage people to study and do research on is the history, where you reside, where your family migrated from, and your own family background and history. These things are very, very important. And it's going to be persons like myself and others who people are going to be running to, looking for this information. Because somebody said, I'll give you, I don't know, $100 million check today, but you got to prove certain things to me. Then you're going to be like, what happened? You can't even research and understand the legacy of your own family struggle to appeal to a or to have someone litigate on your behalf. So it's very, very important. So tonight, with the beginning of Black History Month, and for us, Black History is 24/7, 365. That's how we is. But tonight we're going to tie in the meaning of family legacy with some of the people that we're going to discuss for Black History Month. Now, while we getting this thing queued up and everything, I wanted to touch on some of the things that have been happening in the news while we were off um, last month. Um, you now have this uh, murder of Tyree. Um, what is the brother's last name? It just escapes me right now. But he was murdered in Memphis by 6 police officers. Now, immediately something seemed strange to me about this, and I want y'all to roll with me, family. When I first heard it on a news broadcast, the first thing they said was prepare. They were telling their viewing audience to prepare for what they were going to see. Thank you, cousin Pizzo. My cousin Pizzo on the check-in, and Sister Farnessa, Tyree Nichols, right? And so they were saying to brace yourselves for what you were going to see. And in fact, it started early in the morning. You guys let me know if this was the same where you reside. The news were coming in early in the morning about this release or soon to be released body cam video of the murder of Tyree Nichols. Now, that already struck a chord in me, trying to tell people to prepare for what they're about to see. Now, this is how mainstream media dictates to you who you should grieve for, who you should fight for, who you should be, who you should protest for, what you should do, how you should do it, when to do it. So anyway, when I saw the news, that bothered me. And then as the day went on, they kept saying they were going to release it at a particular time. They had a press conference or several press conferences with this young man's mother. And, it just bothered me. It just bothered me. And then you had people like your Al Sharptons and your Benjamin Crumps who were making commentary about the feeling of his parents, this young man's parents. First of all, you can't tell me how to feel about my child or children. You can't do that. Then during these press conferences, as they see the mother, you know, suffering and pain of the murder of her child, um, the father, they first try to downplay the father, referring to him as the stepfather, the stepfather, the stepfather, even though Tyree's mom made it plain that's his father. That step stuff and steps, that's white folk stuff. We don't roll like that. So if that's y'all culture, that's y'all culture. But when you bring somebody into your family who is going to parent your child, that's what they are, a parent. Not no, I don't listen. Do not let these people dictate language to you. And as a unique and specific group in this country, we have a right to dictate our own language. We have a right to speak our own language. We do not have the right, if we don't want to, we don't have to share it with anybody else. Stop letting, outsiders know, our verbiage, how we relate to each other. It's none of their business. The Irish don't teach you how they relate to each other. The Italians don't teach you how they relate to each other. Asian folks don't teach you how they relate to each other. We have this nasty habit of trying to explain our culture and our verbiage to other people. Get out of that habit. And so, as these press conferences were being aired, they kept saying to the mother, and you would see Attorney Crump, the other attorneys, and other folks around her lean into her ear, constantly asking her to ask for peace, peaceful protest. Why do they always come to us for peace and forgiveness? That is highly insulting. Me personally, I don't forgive anybody for anything that you've ever done to me, ever, ever, because you did it on purpose. I don't have to forgive you to make you feel good about yourself. That's not going to happen. If that, God forbid, were to happen to me, say it happened to me, say the police ran down and beat me up, to beat me to death, you know, nobody in my family would ever tell you that I wanted peace. If they did, they're a liar or they're not related to me. And if they are related to me, and if you ever heard anybody in my family say that, I give you permission to kick them in the damn throat. Because my family know I don't rock like that. So it's always this plea for forgiveness when it comes to black people here in this country. And we feel it necessary to make other people comfortable in our own pain. I'm not making nobody comfortable in my pain. That's why I speak the way that I speak and say the things that I want to say. I don't have to be calm, cool, collected to make you feel good. If this was to happen to me, burn this effer down. You hear me? I'm not playing this kind of game. If somebody murdered my children or anybody in my family unjustly, I don't want to hear that peaceful protest stuff. Another thing, we have a nasty habit of allowing other people to plead our cause. Now, as I'm watching all of this news media coverage of various protests that were, held throughout the country, if you want to call them a protest, I got another word for that. But we're going to roll with protest. I see, all of these Caucasian people, Asian people, Latino people. I don't need you to plead my cause. My pain ain't your pain, and your pain ain't my pain. And this is how people capitalize off of our suffering. You had Kamala Harris speak at this young man's going home service. And she says it's time for police reform. Really? Well, why didn't she have this attitude when she was the top cop in San Francisco? She was the top law enforcement official in San Francisco. How many police officers did she put behind bars compared to the number of black men and women that she put behind bars? How many? This is not nothing. This is nothing new. And to have these people, listen, man, see, I'm glad I have the family I have. We don't roll like that. Like, are you crazy? Are you crazy? It's so disrespectful. And they gonna tell you who you should grieve for. That's crazy. How they gonna tell you who you should grieve for? What about Anthony Lowe Jr., a two-time amputee murdered by the police? Where is the firing of those police officers? And you notice this police chief in Memphis, she acted very quickly and accordingly, but she didn't have that same energy when she was the top cop in Atlanta. When those police officers ran into that elder's home, 92 years of age, and murdered her, serving an ineffective no knock warrant, where was that police commissioner there? How come she hasn't rained down on this Caucasian officer the way she did the 5 black police officers? Now, they should be fired. They should have lost their employment. If you, even the one who claimed he didn't do any harm to Tyree Nichols, you didn't report the other 4. You didn't stop the other 4. Let me tell all of you black people who are in law enforcement something right here and right now. You get no empathy or sympathy from us, because when those other folks attack us, do us dirty, y'all keep your mouths closed. You standing with that blue wall. When a police officer is murdered, say for example, like right here in New York, you've had police officers who were unfortunately murdered on the job. Now, when the suspect or alleged gunman come into courtroom, you see this blue wall of uniform all over the damn place in support of said officers who were harmed. How come black officers don't have that same energy when black people, the community of which they come from, are murdered unjustly by police? Y'all stand quiet. So I have no empathy or sympathy for all of you in law enforcement who do that. You're a coward and an embarrassment to the race. You're a disgrace to the race. Now, certain things have come out and said that, this one of the police officers was, you know, in a tent with this young man, Tyree Nichols, because they allegedly dated the same person. Most likely a Yarugu. I don't know. I haven't seen any photographs. However, or neither parties have confirmed such. As of right now, it's just hearsay. However, if it is that, reminds you of what happened with George Floyd, same thing. Same thing. So now you got, brothers shooting each other for Yarugus. Like, this is crazy. This is crazy and an embarrassment. And if some of you may be in law enforcement, you need to check yourselves. Don't stay quiet so you can slide with a pension. Don't stay quiet, because it could happen to you and yours. Next, you could be next. You know how many black officers have been shot in the back by fellow law enforcement? Where was the blue wall for that? So a lot of you, who keep your mouth closed, who go along to get along, I hope it gets you next. I hope that you're next. Just the mere fact that you are in law enforcement, you should know the history of law enforcement, right? The legacy of law enforcement is to kidnap, assault, and capture black people. Slave catchers, right? We in Black History Month. Let's tell this truth. Out of that, form various police departments and fire departments. Now they're doing the same thing to us that they did in enslavement. The mere fact that you would have politicians who are saying to you, Kamala Harris, that they're pushing Congress to sign the George Floyd bill, and President Biden will, go along, give a signature. Why are we still begging for the same things that we asked for in 1865? You see how idiotic and insane that is? Explain to me, and I'm asking y'all, I don't know everything, but somebody explain to me, how is it that you can continue to give your vote for either party every year, every 2 years, every 4 years? How do you continue to do this when our people continue to suffer? Explain to me how you love your God, whatever it is that you worship. I don't know. That's up to you. It's your business. No hate from me. But how is it that you worship a higher power and play around in the devil's cesspool of politics? How do you do that? How do you look yourself in the mirror knowing that you voted for politicians who have given you and yours absolutely no guarantees, but have given guarantees to everyone else? The Asian community do not have to face the same problems that the African American community face with law enforcement. The Irish community don't have to deal with it. The Russian community don't have to deal with it. The Italians don't have to deal with it. As a matter of fact, here in New York is the hub for the Russian mob. All persons in law enforcement know this. I bet you they don't run down on them like that. I bet you they don't slam their mothers on the ground. Now, normally, when the officers are Caucasian, you hear news media, politicians, and political commentators say, well, we have to let the investigation play out. We have to have a thorough and this, that, and investigation. There is no immediate firing when it comes to white folks. So all of you black people in law enforcement who think you special, you not. You not. And by keeping quiet, going along to get along, you making things worse. You're making things worse. And stop being an embarrassment to the race. You are no different than thugs on the street. No different. Equally embarrassing. An equal disgrace. And I don't care what division of law enforcement. I don't care if it's a court officer. I don't care if it's a state police officer, uh, NYPD, whatever PD. It don't matter. It don't matter. Court, it don't matter. Corrections, it don't matter. Especially y'all. You keep your mouths closed, the majority. And when you have fellow black law enforcement officers who speak up, y'all don't stand with them. Y'all don't stand with them. You're lying if you listen. I'll call anybody bluff. Bring them on here. Everything comes down to paperwork. And if you ain't got it, you're lying. You're lying. So we have to clean up a lot of things. Now, I started off talking about you know, history of the municipalities in which you live and family legacy, right? Um Put a one in the chat if you know Alila Walker. If you know who she is. If you know who she is, put a one in the chat without going to Google first. Let me see y'all put a one in the chat. If you know Alila Walker. If you don't, it's fine. No problem. No problem. Sister Farnessa said, and Kamala knows that George Floyd bill is nothing but exactly, exactly, sis, exactly. It's disgusting. Brother Edie Amin said Biden will not sign anything because Congress won't pass anything for African Americans specifically. You got that right. Bingo. Bingo. You get a star. You get the star today. You get the star today, my brother. That's it. Everybody got something for them but us. But we're black people are the ones that are holding up the political machine. I had a conversation with someone on the train. I overheard them talking about this influx of migrants into the city, and now the migrants are holding protests. So somebody on the train was saying, they like everybody else got a right to liberty and pursuit of happiness and all this old kind of stuff. And listen, I'm gonna give y'all some real tea right here. Being a U.S. citizen does not guarantee you protections. It does not give you the right to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. Doesn't give. We've discussed law enforcement's. Their role is not to protect you. It's protect property. In the United States, if you read the case, U.S. versus USA, it was a real case. Actually, there's a great book. I'm going to try to get the link and give y'all a free copy of it um, before the show ends. But this case clearly lays out that the only guarantee that you have as a U.S. citizen is a right to residency. That is all. That is all. And then Congress could condemn you as a citizen and take that right away from you. But y'all keep voting. You really believe it's a democracy. It's not your fault. This is what you've been fed. This is what's been thrown down your throats. So, unless you do individual study, you wouldn't know. So, we're going to talk about Alila Walker. Now, I know you all know about the Harlem Renaissance. We're going to move right on. Now, you had the McKays, you had Langston Hughes, you had Zora Neale Hurston, you had all of these greats who came out of the Harlem Renaissance. But it wasn't just people of the arts, you see, it was also those literary giants, right? Who came and formed what is called the Harlem Renaissance. Now, I'm a person when I study the name, I study the time of day, the person, the politics of the day, and I also always study where black people were financially at that particular time. So say for example, if I'm studying the period of 1885, I want to know everything about that period, including what were black people doing at that particular time? How were they living? What businesses did they have, if they had any? So I look at the whole entire picture before I draw a conclusion. Now, Alila Walker is the daughter of Madam C.J. Walker. Now, Alila Walker, she took over the business, after her mother transitioned. Um, and she was left her wealth. Um, she moved around quite a bit. Now there is a movie um about her allegedly. I can't remember it right now. I can't remember it, but it will come to me. Starring Octavia Butler. She played her actually. And Tiffany Haddish, I believe, was in the movie. I think Tiffany Haddish played um Alila, and I believe Octavia Butler played sheesh, I'm saying the wrong person. She played the mother. Yes, someone put in the chat, said it was said she was a lesbian. Now, Sister Marie said that. She said it was said that she was a lesbian. Well, that's hearsay, right? Alila was married 3 times. There was never any proof that she had any relationship with a woman. And that's why when we watch these movies, we have to know the historical reference and the historical background, because we know how Hollywood operates, right? We know how they get down. So you had that portrayed in the movie, but it's never been proven that she had any relationship with any female. Um, and in fact, oh, of course, definitely hidden agendas. But anyway, she yes, thank you, brother Edie. I mean, he said the movie is called Self Made. That's right. It's on Netflix. I guess you could catch it through that medium. So thank you, brother Edie. I mean, for checking on that. I'm trying to get brother Ashe in here. Give me 1 second. Ba, 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 ba. Okay, so I'm not going to say that she was, because there was no, and her descendants are saying that that is not true. But anyway, when it came to the Harlem Renaissance, somebody had to think of it, finance it, and market it, and that was Alayla Walker. She was the financier behind the Harlem Renaissance. In fact, she went broke doing so. She lost millions doing so. Um, Once Ashe gets in here, I will show you guys a photograph of her home and that of her mother. If you've ever visited Irving, New York, or Irvington, New York, Madam C.J. Walker home is there. Um, but anyway, they called Alila Walker the goddess of Harlem, right? This woman had a 5-story brownstone home. The first floor was a hair parlor where young women can come get their hair done. On the second floor, it was the Leela Beauty College. I don't know why I'm getting tongue tied on her name. But anyway, she had the beauty college on the second floor. Floors 3 to 5 were her home. And it was said that there would be so many people in her house every, when she had these parties every weekend or every other weekend, these gatherings rather, that it was like being on a crowded subway train, right? So imagine you got Hubert Harris at the house, you got Garvey's wife at the house, you got, you know, Zora Neale Hurston at the house, you got all of these giants who would come to her home. And not only that, but she would feed them and, make sure everything was taken care of, top notch, top notch. Nothing. I think for her own daughter's wedding, I think she spent like $600,000 or something like that on it. But anyway, and this was back, in the 1920s, the 19s, the teens, 1910s, you know, when these things were happening. So it's very important that we know who the architects and who the financiers were of our movement. So from here on in, you will know that Alila Walker, I think she was born in 1885. I think she died fairly young, maybe 45, 46 years of age, when she transitioned. Um, And after her passing, people like Langston Hughes and others said Harlem would never be the same. And again, once we get our brother in here, I will be able to go in the background and get you guys some images of what it looked like in her home. But again, she had a philosophy of we can do for self, that we don't need other people to finance our culture, right? We don't need their hands in our culture. These are things that she would say. And so you had a lot of people who try to shut down what she was doing, right? Again, remember I told you she would say, for example, if she had a party on this Saturday coming, right? She would send out 300 invitations, knowing full well 300 people couldn't fit in her home, but 300 people would show up. So it was first come, first serve if you wanted to get into her parties, get to go to one of her parties. And she helped some of the earliest um, intellectual scholars of that time here in New York um, travel. And back then they would have these step ladders, right? That the brothers like Hubert Harris and Garvey and others would use to speak to crowds on the street. If you ever seen the movie Malcolm X, you saw images of that type of literary dialogue take place in that film. So they were big during that time. And we have to thank Sister Alayla Walker for financing the Harlem Renaissance. So never let anybody ever tell you any. You can go to the New York archives to read it. It's there. Um, the New York Historical Society, it's there. So I'm not making this stuff up. She funded it all and went broke doing it. I believe the Madam C.J. Walker Hair Center or Hair Institute stuck around to like 1988, something like that. So that's something to be commended, whether you know it or not. You know, we finance our own victories back then. Today, we finance our own oppression. We will put money and energy into things for other people and financing our own oppression at the same damn time. So we got to change how we do things. Now, everybody ever, let me see, who hasn't heard? If you watched A Different World, put a one in the chat. If you've watched A Different World, put a one in the chat. Don't tell me y'all ain't heard of A Different World. Starring Jasmine Guy and Kadeem Hardison and others. You watched A Different World. Now remember, who was Dwayne Wayne's best friend in A Different World? Who was his best friend? Ron Johnson, right? Ron Johnson was his best friend. Now I'm gonna give you some history about Darrell M. Bell, who played the character Ron Johnson in A Different World. His father, Travers Bell, had the first investment bank and to be seated on the New York Stock Exchange. His father. In fact, when his father died, he left them $14 million. Now, let's think about the character of Ron Bell, right? Excuse me, Ron Johnson in A Different World, right? Ron never wanted to work for anybody. Ron always had a business scheme that he wanted to try. Um, at the end of the show, when Dwayne and Whitley left to go to Japan, Ron had his own club, right? All of that came out of his relationship with his father, being the first black investment bank and have a seat on the New York Stock Exchange. Now, tie in the history. How crazy is it that His father did that, but centuries earlier, we were the trade on Wall Street. Did it come full circle or did it not? And if you knew that, yes, Sister Farnessa, he did marry Tim. Well, they aren't legally married, him and Tempest Bledsoe. I saw an interview with him, I think it was last week or the week before, um, and he was talking about their relationship. They've been together for so long, but they aren't legally married, you know. But anyway, you know how we see it. You together that long, you married. But anyway, so yeah, so that's his father, you know. And a lot of times, you know, we don't talk about black financiers, you know, those who made a way for themselves and us and made history at the same time. We have to study these things. In fact, the first black architect that came out of MIT built Booker T. Washington's home. He also built Madam C.J. Walker's home, the first black architect to graduate out of MIT. And so these are histories that, you know, we don't know. You know, we only study and pay attention to things that other people tell us to. But, you know, we got to chill with all of that. We got to do our own research. We got to research our own story, know exactly who we are. Never let anybody tell you, like, for example, when you look at people like Frederick Douglass, you know, he was a great orator of that time, but he can't hold a candlestick to David Ruggles. You understand? You know, when people talk about Harriet Tubman and the 300 enslaved Africans that she saved, but David Ruggles freed 600 right here in New York, half of them coming out of Brooklyn, coming out of Brooklyn. He was the lead investigator against the New York Kidnapping Club. As again, and I said in the opening, this was a group of white men who were kidnapping free black people and selling them into slavery for profit, right? So I'm gonna step off real quick. I see my brother Ashe SJ in the check-in. What's up, Ashe?
Yo, what's the word? Yo, shout out to everybody, man. It's a new year. We back. Thorough Black Talk. Um, me and my brother Tad and my sister Keisha had some time off, as needed. We've been working hard putting on this show. Keisha does countless hours of research and organizing behind the scenes. So it was nice for us to have some time to just gather ourselves. And it's a new year, 2023. They say that adds up to a 7 when you do that numerology. It's a year for growth, a year for spirituality. Any goals that you have, this is the year for you to attack it. So it was only right for us to take the month of January and just sit back and build, and also have some time to just reflect and collect ourselves so we can take this to a new level this year. But me, Ty, and Keisha also got the opportunity. What was that? 2 days ago, we went to get some food together, chilling, and it was good to see the family, and yeah, I'm just ready to get back into it, man. Like Keisha said, she opened up the show with some of the hot topics that's going on right now. It sound like a broken record. Sound like we going through the same thing last year that this year that we did last year and the year before that and the year before that. And I'm starting to wonder, like, man, is this like programmed? Is this really like they like pulling the strings like this time of the year? It's a new year now. Hold on, and we can't go. Don't let them get too optimistic now. Let's pull the string back a little bit and make something happen, and to pull on their heartstrings so we can see Benjamin Crump and all of these other ambulance chasers back on TV again. Or just when we start to galvanize a little bit of energy, they try to put us in this state where it's like, damn, we submissive again. Now we getting killed by the police. You know, So we definitely got to be mindful of that. I mean, at the same time, we all know that we are going to fight for freedom and be freedom fighters and, warriors for liberation by any means. But at the same time, it's a psychological war that's going on at the same time. You know what I'm saying? So we just got to make sure that we are feeding our minds as well as our bodies, and our spirit, on a healthy level. Sometimes you don't need to watch the videos of these things that's happening. It's like every time we turn around, it's some kind of new oppression or some new murder, some new imprisonment or something like that with our people. So sometimes I'm not mad at people. Like me personally, I didn't watch the video of the new brother Tyree when he got brutally beaten and murdered. I didn't watch the video personally. You know what I'm saying? Because you seen one, you seen it enough. That was seeing Trayvon Martin and all these other people years ago when that happened. That was enough trauma for us. You know what I'm saying? So at this point, it's just about not being reactionary and just being solution oriented. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes viewing those things will put something in you and you don't even need that. Subconsciously, if you're not of the warrior class like us, you'll use that and that'll subconsciously put you in a state of submission. You know what I'm saying? Or just a state of damage. If you're not really about that life and about fighting endlessly and tirelessly and fearlessly, like some of us are. You know what I'm saying? So I understand totally why some people are not tapped into it as much, but it's like I said, it's just being solution oriented. What are we gonna do with this? This is what's happening. How do we respond to this? That's the healthy thing for us to discuss, and also having these conversations with our family members, having these conversations with our peers. Your loved ones, your friends, your peer group, like it's having these conversations. Like, all right, this is happening. This is what happened. What's a healthy response? How do we take what's happening and take this bit of information and utilize that to an action plan? You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of us, like I said, we just reactionary and we hear these things and we go through it, and more that it's happening over and over. We've been saying we've been desensitized to this from a long time ago. So if we passed being desensitized to it now, what are we then? Now what? Some of us, we just don't care. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us, we just don't even care anymore. We like, oh, we gonna turn off the TV and not watch the news or not read the news article about what's happening. But at the same time, we still not gonna be solution oriented or do anything positive to change the outcome. You know what I'm saying? So when I say I'm not watching the video, I'm also not giving a pass and an excuse for you to turn a blind eye or love thy enemy or whatever, or say, oh, I'm gonna go pray and then don't do nothing behind the prayer. It's just only prayer and not like real boots on the ground work. So I'm not giving no pass or no excuse at all. But I'm just saying that we got to find the balance and the right line between um, not losing our sanity and still fighting this fight. That's very important for us. And we know that stress, we already know before these things happen, we know that stress is the number one killer for black people. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us are damaged and hurt, and we get illnesses and sicknesses from stress. Literally, illness comes from stress. That's the first thing that happens in your body. You get stressed
Fact.
out, and then you get sick and you get ill. You catch a cold, your nose running. Next thing you know, you cancer, all these crazy things that's popping up. You know what I'm saying? And that's good for these devil, for the enemies, because all they want to do is prescribe you medicine for it anyway. So either way, that's better for you. Either they gonna kill us quick or they gonna kill us slow, and they probably prefer to kill us slow, right? So they could feed and drain like vampires, like damn devils. These are the devils we dealing with right here, right? It sounds familiar. I know it sounds familiar. I ain't writing none of this down. It ain't practice. It's just this is just how it is. This is what we living with. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying that to say, and I see my brother Black, so I'm gonna pass him back. I'm just saying that to say, like, mental health is very important, family. We got to be responsible about this. A lot of our people are seeing these things, and we so past the point of being desensitized that now we literally, it's not even a matter of being sensitive or not. It's just a matter of, do you care enough or not to do anything positive to change the outcome? You know what I'm saying? And then the mental illness is crazy too. Like, just like we mentally, I use that. I give black people a pass, not to sit around and do not to do nothing, to sit around on your ass all day and not fight. But I do give us a pass for slavery because we do have PTSD, post traumatic slave syndrome. You know, we still dealing with that. You know, if you were a victim of slavery, we should be getting free healthcare, mental health care, and therapy, and just off of slavery, just dealing with that. Because remember, memories, those get handed down in generation. They talking about how they could actually program DNA now, where you don't even need a memory card now or a flash drive or whatever. They can actually program DNA and information into DNA, and they started doing it with plants. And now they're talking about they storing like whole music catalogs in plants, in the DNA of plants. So if that's able to be done, then think about how much memories and how much trauma we have programmed in us as Black people from slavery time. Not even slavery, from right now what we dealing with. Now that's being programmed in us, and we
From our
passing it down.
parents.
We passing that from our parents too. We passing that down to the next generation. That's why it's very important, family, that we gotta pay attention to our health and especially our spiritual and our mental health, family, because it's not just us, and we forget about that. It's not just us. Everything we deal with, every experience we have, everything we go through, it builds your character. But not only your character, it builds the character of your next generations. Because you programming yourself. You think, oh, whatever, I could go through this, I could go through that. Sometimes you got to stand up for yourself or defend yourself or treat yourself or practice good mental health, not just for you, but for your lineage. Because everything you go through is going to get programmed in your DNA and passed to your kids and your kids and your grandkids. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be conscious of that and aware of that and walk with that. You know, that's why we got to focus on nation building and just family building. You know, family, when we talk about family building, a lot of us talk about, we think about family building in the sense of, oh, who I'm going to lay down with, who I'm going to make kids. That ain't family building. Family building is when you thinking generation ahead. That's family building. That's when you like, all right, my grandkids and my grandkids, you know, who I'm passing this down. You know what I'm saying? Like, pass a business down to the grandkids. Pass a quote, pass a shirt, whatever you want to pass down. But you thinking in long term, you thinking like, yo, this is, and it's all starting from you. You are the ancestor. We all are the ancestors, family. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm going left and all of that, but I'm just saying, like, based on the Tyree and all of the crazy stuff that's happening with our people, family, listen, just be healthy about it. Be solution oriented. Find out what you could do in your own way. But at the same time, I'm tired of seeing the brutality in the videos and all. I don't need to see the video and all that. That's just going to infuriate me more, make me want to get revenge and go out here and bust some heads. You know what I'm saying? But the responsible thing to do is to sit back and have the conversations and be like, this is the information that we've been presented. How are we going to utilize that now to make things better for ourselves or for our family for the next generation, yo? Because too much of these videos, you will literally get stressed out and you will get sick. Think about how much of our freedom fighters have died. Cancer, all kind of illnesses. You know what I'm saying? Die at young ages too, because of the stress. I know this movement is not easy. That's why enough of us ain't doing it. Because if it was easy, it'd be a lot of us doing this movement, fighting and fighting for liberation and all of that. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of us, we know it's not easy. It's hard. It's stressful, and you will die early trying to do this work. You know what I'm saying? So we got to just keep that in mind and just balance it out and make sure we taking care of ourselves and care for our brothers and sisters, yo. But brother Black, how you feeling, bro?
Facts. What's up, Black?
Out there that's can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah, hear you.
we
Oh,
got
okay. You just unmuted my mic. Thank you. Hey, peace to the family. Thank you, Ashe, for that beautiful dissertation of what you just said. Everything you said was right and exact. I don't have no disagreements or no disparities. Sister Keisha, happy New Year.
You
I
better
know
not
we've
have no
been keeping in
disagreements.
touch.
you, brother.
What's that?
I said you better not have no disagreements.
You already starting this first minute I talk. Now, but peace to everybody out there listening and to the listening audience and to those who will listen to this or hear this in the near future. I'm just here and I'm loving what y'all saying. Everything is right and exact. And where my brother Tad and Marcia at?
Marcia has a family emergency, and
Uh,
Tad Tad is on assignment. But
Okay.
I just wanted y'all to see who Travis Bell Jr. is. This is Daryl M. Bell's father. Again, remember I said Daryl M. Bell played Ron Johnson on A Different World. So this is his father. Now, Travis Bell co-founded investment bank Daniels and Bell, which in 1971 became the first black-owned investment bank on the New York Stock Exchange and a major force in municipal bond underwriting throughout the nation. In addition to his success in high finance, Bell structured one of the first leveraged buyouts completed by an African American businessman when Dan Bell subsidiary acquired Cocoa Line Chocolate, which was ranked among the largest black owned companies in the 1980s. Moreover, the pioneer who died of a heart attack in 1988 at the age of 46.
Damn.
And I believe this is the same age of death as Alila Walker. See, when you put all that you have into our people, this is highly stressful, as I say said. So this is why we take breaks. I'm not gonna let y'all kill me. For real, for real. It's a lot. It is a lot. So you often see a lot of the greats transition kind of early. So that's who um Travis J. Bell Jr. is. He grew up in Ida B. Wells projects in Chicago, and then got a job as a messenger and parlayed that and started learning investment banking and started his own firm. So when I was saying before you came on, Black, that when you remember the character Ron Johnson from A Different World, he
Uh-huh.
never wanted a job. He always had a business scheme going on. And when the show ended, remember when Whitley and Dwayne went off to Japan and
Right.
he had his own club. When you know the backstory, he said it was easy for him to play that because he grew up that way, doing for self.
Right.
You understand? So
Right.
this is why I said tonight I started to talk about two figures who understood that philosophy, lived up to that philosophy,
Uh-huh.
ultimately lost their lives rather young. Both,
Right.
and both of them lost everything, right? Because Travis Bell, he left his fortune to his sons, and I think it was Daryl who they claimed squandered most of it. We don't know if it's true or not, but that's what they claiming. Maybe they said that because he's the most famous of the children. So I believe it was three of them, two sons and a daughter, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. I got to go back to my notes. But I say all this to say, even when you are growing in business, in this environment, in this world that we live in, it is highly, highly stressful. Highly stressful. I remember Sister Pat Patterson, shout out to her. She on the check-in.
Uh-huh.
She could tell you what it was like with us for the Freedom Party. There was several nights I never slept. It was always something to do. Always something to do. Literally went days without sleeping. So it's not when people sacrifice on the behalf of our people, don't just take that lightly, because it's not. It's not. So we want to honor those today, throughout this month, and throughout our lives. We got to honor those who were on the front lines for us. And in fact, I was saying, Brother Black, that I don't know if you know, but the first black man to graduate out of MIT built Booker T. Washington's home. He built Madam C.J. Walker's home,
Right.
and his partner did Alila Walker's house, right on I think it was West 136th Street
That's
over there.
Travis Rowe.
Right.
Right.
So, these are things that we have to take into consideration when we are celebrating ourselves. Don't just parlay it as if it's light, because people really made sacrifices on your behalf.
Right.
I see a lot of people on social media got diarrhea of the thumbs. You know, just typing any old kind foolishness. You know, but you're able to do that because of the sacrifice for you. So don't take that lightly. I ain't mean to cut your wisdom. Go ahead, brother Black. I know you got some good information for us. The AI team is coming after us. When you brought that up to me, and I know my brother Knowledge Born Our Lives going to check this out. But I had spoke to him about forming an independent Black Media Commission because I knew what was coming down the pike. And I've been talking about the FCC attack on TikTok and where that's going to lead us, right? Now you go ahead, brother Black. I ain't gonna say nothing. You go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh man. Oh, Keisha, you giving me a big where you want me to start at? Or where you want me to, go
AI
in?
took my voice. Go.
Okay, okay, yeah. To those of y'all out in the listening audience, and to Brother Ashe as well, I had sent Keisha a link this morning. Now, those of y'all who know about what's going on in the world now, know about what deepfakes is. And what deepfakes is it could be me here talking to you right now, but it ain't really me. It's a bot basically that I programmed or someone programmed to act like it's me. And I could be somewhere off there, digging up in Urugu's guts or whatever the case may be. So what I'm saying with that is a link came out today by a guy named Mike Adams, who's on Brighteon. Real good dude that, in my opinion, I get a lot of information from him where he had faked his voice now. So he mostly does podcasts, but he's going to start doing interviews like this where you see him, FaceTiming. And so what I'm saying to y'all is with Keisha coming with that angle, what I want to tell a lot of y'all out there is just because you see people like Biden, Obama, and all these other, even Trump, and y'all know I'm a Trump supporter, but whatever. All I'm saying is just because you see people saying or seeing them say stuff, it don't mean it's actually them. And we got to be aware of all of these things. So now when you add that into the equation, the way I'm looking at it, and Ashe hit it on this point. I was going to say something, but I didn't want to cut his wisdom because he was just coming in. For all we know, Tyree Nichols' murder could have been a false flag because there's something called loosh. When we grieve or when we riot and when we suffering, it's a collective frequency in the air that the devils feed off of. It's a frequency. Now, 2 years ago, or actually almost going on 3 now, when all those people died at Travis Scott's concert, Keisha even asked me, she showed the video clip on this show of a demon walking around in the audience, like over everybody. And, we don't know if it was AI or if it was something they put into the glitch in the matrix or what have you. But the more loose we elicit, the more powerful they get. So we got to remain in a place where we balance and not, rioting or going out there and doing dumb stuff off reaction. Now, if it happened to your family or whatever, and it's true, go out there and do what you got to do, like Keisha was saying at the beginning of the show. But if it ain't your party, I would invite y'all. I would tell y'all not to go out there and rioting or protesting or none of that. Just see it out. We gonna make it. We gonna be victorious. Just keep going and let's go with that. That's what I got to say on that.
Now, with the whole AI thing, let me just give y'all a little bit of backstory of what Brother Black is talking about. Now you have artificial intelligence programs that are now going to be using our voices, right? They can use our voices. So you may hear something in Ashe's voice and say, wow, Ashe said some crazy effed up stuff, but it's not Ashe, it's artificial intelligence. Now, what guarantees do we have under the FCC that they cannot steal our voices from us. There is
Mm-hmm.
no guarantee. The only guarantee, because I was listening to a case this morning, which is going to go before the Supreme Court rather shortly. Amazon, um, as far as civil forfeiture seizures, right? They now have a direct link to Congress, the Senate, and the president. They probably can do it um, whenever they feel like it. Why? Because just about every federal agency, um, Amazon um, does their cloud, right? So Amazon has federal contracts too, right now.
Uh-huh.
Before we left for the end of the year, I talked about how Amazon has its own police force. And I
Wow.
showed how they were going after various counterfeiters in China. And so now they've been given autonomy to do whatever the hell they want to. So who knows? We literally have no protections. As a matter of fact, I don't know if you ever pulled up a PDF online and at the bottom, whatever your computer configurations are, instead of you reading it, they can read it for you. And it gives you a list of characters um, by language that you can choose. Grandpa voice, Karen voice, Sally, different voices. Where did they get them from? How did they get permission to use it on just about every device? How did that happen? Where is the legislation that said that that was okay to do so? Nobody's going to challenge them because not too many people want to go against the FCC. And Amazon right now is protected by them. So, we're going to have to do some things because, as I said many times on this platform, what's happening with independent black media right now is monumental. Whether you agree or disagree with the platform, you've never seen this many media outlets that black people control. And I think because in mainstream media follows what we're doing, they want to take control of that, control the narrative. Because even if you look at TikTok, right, you have Gen Z. Gen Z is now regurgitating, Dr. Clark, Dr. Ben, doing their own thing all over TikTok right now. A whole new generation is getting introduced to that. You have a whole new generation that are talking to their audience about rebellion, right? That can be quite dangerous. But unless we know our history, our natural DNA, as Ashe was saying, which is one of the reasons why I say it's very important that you know your own family history. Some of the things you run from within yourself, you can't. It is a part of your DNA that has been transferred down to you. I'm still feeling the pain from 5 great grandmothers before me. That's why I always got a fire in my belly. I'm not giving that up. I'm not giving that up. So anyway,
Keisha, can I say something real quick before you
go ahead,
go?
brother. Go ahead.
The same guy, Mike Adams, was talking about what Ashe was talking about a little while ago about how they storing all this memory in plants and so on and so forth. He said
Absolutely.
in a gram of DNA, you can store about 40 quintillions bits of information. That's like 40 zeros of information. Like, that's crazy. Yeah, we couldn't even imagine that number.
Insane. Insane.
Yeah.
Quick. I wanted the audience to see what Alila Walker's house looked like. It was
Yo,
called the Dark Tower.
yo,
So
Keisha,
go ahead, brother.
I thought you a blacksmith. I thought you made that up just now, but I believe you though. He said a quintillion. I said, what are you talking about, quintillion?
This was the parlor on the first floor when you came into her home. Now, remind you, this is early 1910s, right? Early 1900s. This was the second floor reception area. This is the outside of the home. I believe it was West 136th Street, I believe. that was where she lived. But you can check this out for yourself. And there is no shortage of information that is talking about her being the financial backing of the Harlem Renaissance. So I just wanted to put that out. But y'all could go ahead.
Go ahead, I say you get it.
Nah. I mean, it's real, yo. It's real. I mean, everything we say is it just come full circle, yo. That's the dope thing about it, man. Like, but I'll just bring it back to just being responsible. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of us, um, we just irresponsible, and a lot of people that are irresponsible. No matter how much books you read, no matter how much information you got, no matter how much regurgitation you could do, or memory, or whatever you want to call it, you shouldn't be in certain positions. You know what I'm saying? And that's something that we have to have the discernment within ourselves, and also the honesty and the growth and maturity within ourselves to realize like, yo, everything ain't for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Everybody don't have to be friends with everybody. Everybody don't have to be in the same circle. Everybody don't have to. It's many fights out here. It's numerous fights, it's numerous battlegrounds and battlefields out here for us to battle. I mean, everywhere we step is a new battle because we always got some enemy following us. You know what I'm saying? So why is everybody trying to be a leader and everybody wants to be in the spotlight instead of playing the background like we do up here and put the information out with like-minded people and try to get work done? You know, I really don't understand it, man. And I'm not gonna go on no tangent about, a lot of these people that are so-called leaders or so-called viral for being black power people or ambulance chasers or whatever you want to call it. But they talk a good one, but you will never see them. They don't never put forth no effort and no tangible results, So when you see people like that, it's like I get skeptical. I'm questioning, like, I really don't care how good everything that you say sound. Because all I do is remind me of the church. I grew up Christian, not to knock no Christians or nothing like that, not to knock y'all, but I grew up Christian. And when I started seeing like, oh, this sound good, you talking this, you talking that, but then as soon as you step out the church, you acting like the whole people you call heathens out here. You know what I'm saying? Or I can't even call you out on certain things in the Bible that don't make sense to me because, oh, now it's like I got to do it with blind faith. Well, some of these goddamn black people out here that get positions want other black people to walk in blind faith. And that's not something we do up here on Thorough Black Talk. We encourage people that have critical thinking skills, people to be honest and have that level of maturity and responsibility within themselves to know that, yo, time and time again, we've been through the same results and we're not going to attack this fight with the same ass strategy. We're going to try to improve every year. I just said earlier, this is a new year, 2023. I ain't trying to be on Thorough Black Talk kicking the same knowledge we've been kicking 2022, 2021, so on and so forth. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to level up. I'm trying to like make life better. That's the whole purpose of this fight. Our ancestors been fighting to improve our life, to improve the quality of our life and our well-being. You know what I'm saying? So we could flourish, so we could thrive, not just exist, not just live amongst the goddamn oppressor, but so we can thrive, family. So we could be happy. Some people don't even want to be happy. You know what I'm saying? That's what this fight is for. It's to be happy. It's to be free and happy and joyful and love each other. That's what this battle is for. So we could do that and get back to loving each other instead of walking down the damn street and looking at each other or not even looking at each other or looking at each other in the face and not saying the goddamn word to each other. If I say one thing, I might even just say, yo, what up? That's fighting words right there if you talk to the wrong black person. Don't talk about the sisters. Oh no, the sisters, y'all view each other like the biggest competition. Oh, I don't like what she got on. What she wearing? Who she thinks she? Nah. We
come with it, I say yes.
You feel me? Like, but some of these people out here, especially in this so-called movement or whatever, like, yo, it's like they move like they don't want to be happy. Y'all ever met people that every time you see, like, every time you speak to them, like everything that come out their mouth is something they nitpicking at, something they complaining about. But some of these leaders do the same thing. I feel like you got two kind of people in the movie. You got ambulance chasers, people that's chasing the dead bodies, and then you got I don't know how to word this term. I think I found out before. I can't remember. But people that like the armchair revolutionaries that like just speak really good and they be in the pulpit and they just know how to talk and know how to get your energy, but they don't do nothing with it. You know what I'm saying? Then you got those kind of people. And you got to watch out for both of them, yo, because none of them are productive. But some of these people that you see, like, I'll be staying away. When I go to move, like, little events, Black Power or whatever, sometimes I stay away from certain people. You know what I'm saying? I stay away because some
You
people
know
that,
how I move, I say. I'm
yo,
get out of here.
the first thing they say out their mouth is some type of complaint. I don't like that period in life personally. So if I'm in some movement or whatever the case is, and we talking about we fight for liberation, you're not solution oriented. The first thing you come out your mouth is a complaint. I don't care what they doing to us. You just complaining all the time, complaining. You ain't doing nothing else about it. I'm not gonna be around you because that's vampire energy. That's you sucking the life out of everything. Like I'm trying to like galvanize my energy for this fight. I need every drop I
You
could
know
get.
what? You know what I say too? Not to cut you off. I'm getting tired of older people complaining.
Mm,
My back hurt, my leg hurt, my neck hurt. I got high blood pressure, diabetes kicking in. But you don't want to do what's necessary to change that. But
mm,
you rather complain.
boy.
You know, like you know, I have to say this, and I say this all the time. I'm not messing with the oldest over here, but you got to get this work. Technology is not going to wait for you.
Mm,
You know what? One of my pet peeves is let's say I say, Black, there's a party at Restoration tomorrow. You should come through. And he replies back. Now he lives in New York. He got a smartphone. Replies to me. What's the address? I just told you the location. You got a smartphone on you. Use it. I hate that. I hate that. And a lot of you olders, you listen, we on the cusp of moving to Web 3. I'm not going back 20 years to accommodate you. There are free computer classes in every city, especially here in New York. I advise you to start taking them. Don't waste my time. Don't ask me things over and over again either. I hate that. As Ashay said, my time is valuable. I don't have time for all of that. Get to the goddamn point, too. Don't be beating around the bush. Tell me what it is.
mm.
So in 2023, be direct, be on point. Do not waste my time, or I'm
And
going to
yo,
get
Keisha,
Go
and
ahead, Ashay.
even too like with what you're saying, right? So being responsible, being productive, right, is just thinking outside of the box. Like if you see a lack or a room for improvement, then that's up to you to use your brain. Your brain is functioning properly, right? To come up with some kind of solution. So the solution might not be if these elders, like Keisha's saying, are not savvy in technology, but what's a responsible thing they could do, a mature thing, intelligent thing they could do is put together something and be like, yo, like, all right, I'm not good at it. But I know some of these young people, I know one young person or who somebody that knows how to do it. I don't know how to do it, but why don't I put together a class? You know what I'm saying? It don't even gotta be in person. You could just find the person and put together, it could be on Zoom,
They
online, with
don't know nothing
video
about
chat,
them Zoom. They're
whatever
gonna
you
be
want to
asking you
do.
how you click
You
that
know what
link.
I'm saying? And find some so then take it to the park, take it to the basement, whatever you gotta do it in person. But you gotta make something happen. So like if you don't know how to do something, that's the problem, Keisha. It's like people they don't know how to do something, so they just don't do it. They just don't try. They don't reach out to somebody that know how to do it and shadow them to get it. You know what I'm saying? Like they just be like, oh, that's not for me. I don't know how to do it. That's it. They just close minded. But a solution would be, I'm gonna just find somebody, and I know a bunch of people like me that don't know it. We're gonna put together a group, or we're gonna do a video call or something, and that's how we're gonna learn. You know what I'm saying? That's the kind of people I surround myself with. But when you got the other people that's just sitting around and like, oh, I can't do something, so I'm not gonna do nothing about it. I'm away from you. I don't want no parts of that because I feel like when I stop learning, that's when I die. I don't ever want to stop growing. I don't ever want to stop learning, even when I'm an elder. You know what I'm saying? I still want to be learning and growing and all of that. That's the beauty of life, is the ability and the possibility to grow. You know what I'm saying? Some people just give up and they just sit back on their chair, sit in a lazy Susan or whatever. That's exactly what these people become, lazy Susans. You feel me? Like, so when it comes to the movement, we definitely got to make sure that we are not getting too comfortable like that, because I don't see how anybody could get comfortable in this state, this day and age. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if you be lazy, even if you lazy, you sitting on your lazy Susan watching TV, that article is gonna come right up on the news with somebody that looks just like you being murdered, being in prison, and all of that. So how comfortable can you be? It's only how many blind eyes you could turn. You can't. It's no blind eyes. You know what I'm saying? Wherever you look and you turn, anything in your sight and your vision is us being oppressed, family.
So
So,
you think they desensitize themselves by doing that?
mm,
That's crazy. Like you said, time is valuable. Time waits for no one. We already in February. Before you know it, it's gonna be 100 degrees in July. Okay? Be active. Please try to be more active. Cause I see all of these other groups of older folks. They out there. They out there. They learning. They exercising, and they getting prepared for what is to come. Our
Hey,
people. How
hey,
the hell
Keisha.
you spend 20 hours watching TV all day? At least walk some hours. That way you could get rid of that goddamn diabetes that you complaining about.
Hey,
Who
Keisha.
wants? Go ahead, Black. Go ahead, Black.
Tell them to be like them 95-year-olds doing Tai Chi on Canal Street when you come off the Brooklyn Bridge in the morning.
Forget that, brother. They in Farragut projects doing it. See, you
Wow.
been out of New York for a minute. They right under the L in
Wow.
Farragut's projects over there behind 111. My
Wow.
cousin Peas don't want to check in. She'll tell you behind 111, they be out there. Whoa, I'm telling you. But, but our folks, and it's sad to see because y'all know I ride my bike. Now I put in heavy hours every week. But when I'm out there, I see your Rugals jogging, riding bikes, walking, doing fishing, all kind of stuff. When I'm riding and I'm going through the city, I see our people going in dialysis clinics, going to some other clinic. Stay going in clinics. Stay. Do me a favor, family. The next time, if you got a McDonald's or a White Castle where you live at, just pull up and sit there. Ain't gonna take you no more than 10 minutes. Just stay there for 10 minutes. Watch everybody going in and out looking like they about to die. It's bad. It's bad. And me growing up, I never wanted to be dead weight to anybody. Right? So I always made sure I could take care of myself. That I would never be in a position where I would become a burden to anyone for anything. My family members, they'll tell you they on the check-in. I don't roll like that. I don't roll like that because, first of all, it's your responsibility to take care of you. If you ask the average um Irishman on the street or go down to Greenpoint, Brooklyn and ask them Polish folks down there about their history and legacy of their family, they can tell you. Our people, all you want to do is sit with the remote for hours. For hours. That's crazy to me. That's your brain don't die. Like I don't know. I don't know, but maybe because I'm the way that I am, I've always been active, always doing my own thing. We got to be more active. We have to. You can't say that you're in the fight for yourself, let alone the people, but for yourself, and you can barely breathe.
mm,
Shout out to Brother Tad. He did a great presentation at the BK William Mackey History Club. Shout out to Brother Ray Ray last week. And y'all can catch it on YouTube on our Facebook page as well. But, you know, before we close out, I wanted to talk about this whole migrant situation here in the city of New York. Now, first of all, Mayor Adams welcomed these migrants. He said, he said if Florida and Texas and these other states, excuse me, don't want them, come here. Mayor Adams wrote a check his behind couldn't cash, right? Because the influx is still coming. Now they done staged a protest on Millionaires Row. Now, how many times, Brother Black and Ashe, have I came on here and said, when y'all protest, why you don't go to Millionaires Row? Why you gonna disturb where they live at? Why you want to have a protest down on the block? They they not even residents, okay? They pulled up, set up shop, and said we ain't taking nothing less but the best. The spokesperson said, you got empty apartments over there. Luxury, this is what he said. Luxury apartments. We are going over there. You got black people who've been in homeless shelters for years. Ain't stopped nothing yet. And you wonder why we're the clown of the world. We're a clown. We're a clown, family. So if you not listen, don't Black. I'm gonna try to be good. I'm gonna bring it down. This is
Do
my
what you do, sis. Do what you do.
I'm bringing it down. I'm keeping it calm. You know, the Fedora Queen is keeping it calm. But Eric Adams wrote a check his ass couldn't cash. Excuse me. And now he wants the taxpayers of New York to pick up the tab. Nah, you pick up that tab. Split it out between your kids and your siblings. Y'all pick it up. Y'all pay that tab. Don't give another cent when we got black people in homeless shelters for years who can't get out.
Can I make a suggestion?
Go ahead.
He should send them up to Martha's Vineyard like Texas and Florida did.
Send them right there to
Send them right back.
Doorstep. He wanted them. Put them in your basement, in your living room, where your side chick live at. All of that. Put them over there. Don't have the rest of it. You're the one who wanted them here. He didn't have that energy when the Haitians was on the border getting beat. He didn't say bring them here. He didn't say that. But see, a lot of Asians too is coming through that canal.
Everybody.
Sri Lankans, everybody. So, you know, now you got Ukrainians getting all kind of federal funding, housing, jobs. I mean, this is crazy. But again, dear voter, this is your fault. You are the blame for this. You are. You don't want to admit it, but you are. You legally gave up your voice and had someone else represent you legally. That person took representation of said districts for all of us because you put them in office. This is on you. Matter of fact, I wish, because this is the only way I believe voters will become more intelligent in the process, is if every time the politicians that they voted for do something bad, the voters should be RICO'd into it. RICO act them, all of them. All of them. You all pay for it. This is on you. You pay for it. Because you wanted one devil over the other. Oh, because he got brown skin. He got my back. He talked that street slang. He got my back. Where? We're them black people who've been living in homeless shelters. Go to Covenant House. All them black teens who are runaways or whatever you want to call them, staying over there, no place to live, but you want to welcome. Man, listen. And y'all voted for it? You all deserve what you get, but you should pay for it, not us. What y'all think about this migrant situation?
I mean, they had Millionaires Row looking like Skid Row in LA. You know, so I mean, it's just crazy. Like, but the passes that people get, because even if you look at Skid Row, they've been out there for how long, right? How many years? Decades now they've been out there in LA at Skid Row, just tearing it up. But if they was looking like us, it wouldn't be no Skid Row no more. They'd have been gentrified Skid Row if it was black people on Skid Row like that. You know what I'm saying? It might be a couple one or two sprinkled down, but we know who's on Skid Row. And actually, a lot of the people that's on Skid Row don't even have to be there. They choose to be there and they want to be there. They want to be homeless. They want that lifestyle. They even got electricity on Skid Row out there in LA when I went. You know what I'm saying? But they turn out here, they turn Millionaires Road to look like Skid Row. But we know if it was all people, if that was African immigrants, what would have happened? People that got busted in their head. We'd be talking about another article on the news, somebody that got brutalized and murdered or shot or tased to death by the NYPD. We'd be having a totally different conversation. Not about accommodations and nice hotels and places to sleep. We talking about they putting us in pine boxes. So we already know how it is. We already know what it is, yo. But right now, it's probably just damage control. Them rich, bougie ass people on Millionaires Row is like, oh, we can't have this right now. But if we kick them out, it's going to look bad on us as well. So let's do something. Matter of fact, I wouldn't be surprised if the Millionaires Row tenants put a little money together to get them off of there. I wouldn't be surprised. It's all tax deductible anyway, right? They could donate to some shelters and get back. It's a come up for them, right? So that's probably just doing them a favor, giving them an opportunity to do that. It's tax season right now. Some of them probably looking like, yeah, you know how a lot of these rich people be avoiding paying taxes too. That's a whole nother story right there. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not surprised by it at all. The fact that they are accommodating these people and, you know, pulling so many strings for these people. But we all know, like I said, if they was us looking like us, it'd be a totally different story. I'm not surprised by it at all. How you feel, Brother Black?
Well, there was a 16-year plan. Whether you believe it or not, Hillary wasn't supposed to lose, but she was too tainted at the end, and then that, you know, caused Trump to come in, what have you, and so on and so forth. So what's happening now is that 16-year plan had to be modified, and as part of the plan, what Biden is doing, and some of them people now, them rich people that live on Millionaires Row, and for those of you not from New York, that's Fifth Avenue alongside Central Park. And there's a lot of museums over there, and like, you know, like the type of place where the Drummond family lived from Different Strokes, to give y'all an idea. Those are the type of homes that is in those buildings. They look nondescript from outside, but you go inside, it's a whole nother world up in there. You know, doormen, everything, you know, high ceilings, wood, old wood from the 1800s, that kind of stuff. So even they gotta suffer, but at the end of the day, they're not really suffering as a result of that. Now they may suffer from the view, but they're not suffering from it because those buildings are highly regarded. You got a lot of billionaires living over there, not millionaires, billionaires. We talking 2020s now. $1 million ain't shit, ain't much nowadays. As far as that's concerned, they insulated from that because they going in and out of there in black cars that's tinted windows, and they ain't getting stopped by the police because they got those kind of plates where they're, oh, that's a Vanderbilt, you can't stop them. That's a Carnegie, you can't stop them, or whatever the case may be. So they're not suffering as if it would be like in the hood where you on Nostrand Avenue looking outside your window. There's a guy pissing over there. There's a guy over there sticking a needle in his arm, and another guy over there, you know, trying to solicit a prostitute. So it ain't going to be the same as it would be for us who are living in regular buildings and just walking in and out trying to go to work and so on and so forth. So that plan has to go through because it was part of the plan to destroy this nation. So that's where that's coming from. There's no way in the world you're going to, now they talking about even letting some of these migrants become police officers.
Yes. Yes.
The same ones that killed Tyree.
But everybody else, you got to be a citizen.
Pretty much.
But
that's crazy because the people that are already police officers are already detached and unaware of what's going on in the communities. That's why we're having this goddamn brutality now. You know, I mean, police started with migrants, with the Irish. You know what I'm saying? And then the police force is nothing but migrants. Even if you're talking about migrants from other cities, in the hood, in the black community where we live, the police that live there don't that work in the black community don't live in the goddamn black community. They all migrants. That's why they detached and they don't understand what's going on in the community and they don't care. They really don't care. They do whatever they got to do to get home to the end of at the end of their shift to get back to Long Island or wherever the hell they live. Even if that mean they got to shoot you when it wasn't even necessary. You know what I'm saying? But
Uh-huh.
these people don't care about the people that they're supposed to be protecting and serving. They don't care about it. So, that's interesting that you say that because that's just gonna breed. It's just gonna lead to more and more um, of the disconnection between what's going on in the community and the actual needs that the people have in the community by law enforcement. You know what I'm saying? Because it's the same thing. People just disconnected. They don't know because these people don't even have a history, a knowledge of the history of what's going on here in America. You talking about somebody that's fresh. These people probably can't even speak English all 100%.
Most of them.
You know what I'm saying? So you talking
Uh-huh.
about making these people police officers? How you think they're gonna read? That's how you know most of these damn police officers don't even know the law. Don't
But
even read
see,
the law.
great point, Ashay. Let me say this real quick, and then I'm gonna pass it back to you, Keisha. That's exactly the point. See, they put the powers that be, or whatever you want to call them, for lack of a better term, put out all of these ridiculous positions so that we can talk about it. And you hit a point, a very important point a few minutes ago, about 10, 15 minutes ago, when you were talking about how we talk about these things as if they're solutions and they're not. And then we complain about it instead of going about trying to alleviate it. So what I'm saying is to you is when we get to that point and see how ridiculous these powers come with their ideas and the things that they want to do, they're almost virtually impossible to do.
Hmm.
They're virtually impossible to do. How you don't even know this person's background. This person had a date to go to court to see if he was going to be able to stay in the country, and they busting them to different parts of the country. How they going to go to court if you busting them from Texas to New York or Massachusetts or Washington,
They're not
D.C.?
gonna be going. They're not gonna be going.
Exactly.
In fact, here in New York, you can't arrest them if they driving without a driver's license. But they'll lock
Wow.
my behind up though. They'll throw me in jail though.
Yeah.
You
Oh, for
understand?
sure. For sure.
So we gotta first off start to police ourselves. And this is why I say, we need former law enforcement to spearhead this private policing. In fact, let me show you a clip of some brothers out of Detroit who are doing just that. Shout out to the brothers of New Era Detroit.
Who pump your gas? Huh? Okay, New Era. Okay. Who pump your gas? Okay. Pump your gas tonight? You hear me? Oh, you know that.
All right. Thank you. Hey, okay, that's what's up. Thank y'all. All right.
Y'all doing? Y'all all right? I feel real sad. I feel real sad right now.
Okay.
I love it. I love it. I love it. You got all of these black women coming up missing. These brothers took it into their own hands to protect them. You know, you could do that here. You could do that wherever you at. A lot of y'all retired. Get off your behinds and do something. Don't sit there and complain, as Ashe say. Either you involved or you not. When we had a child molester in Canarsie, Brooklyn, what we did? We pulled up. We pulled up. That's it. You either get involved or you don't. I love what they doing out there. I
Yo,
love
Keisha,
what they doing. Go ahead, brother.
the amount of black people that we got that work security jobs, what they securing? Exactly what are they securing?
Property.
Property of the goddamn oppressor.
Yoruba.
Property of the enemy. And they secure it too.
Uh-oh. He must have hit
I
a
think we
deep
lost
point.
Ashe.
He hit a
He
deep
hit
point.
something.
That's why. They cut him.
They say, "Oh no, not you, Negro."
Yeah, you ain't gonna say that right now. You're gonna have to come back once again, Charlie. Hey, Keisha,
He coming back.
remember when the X-Men was security guarding the Coney Island projects? The crime rate went down like 80%, like
Facts.
overnight.
Facts.
Yeah, I was supposed to work with them at one time. It didn't pop off though. But I was in charge with the head. I was in touch with the head guy. It just never popped off. I'm sorry, Ashe. Take it back, man, because they cut your wisdom.
Yeah, I got kicked out. But yo, I'm just saying, like, yo, all the time I'll be seeing people, brothers and sisters, with their ACGs on. You know the security guard outfit. They wear them Nike ACGs with their flashlight, and they got the black sweater, and they got security, on the back with their black army pants. That's the whole security guard outfit. Black army pants, ACGs with the sweater, black security, and they say security on the back. How many people we got?
In a white outline.
Exactly. How many people in the hood that do security jobs, yo, and don't secure a goddamn thing that's worth securing? We securing all the things that we don't need to be secure. In fact, we securing all the things that we should probably be taking out here. And we securing it. It's just like the plantation. Being a security guard on a psychological level is actually very damaging when you think about it.
Almost Stockholm Syndrome.
Exactly. To the psyche, you got to stand up there 8 to 10 hours a goddamn day watching master's property. And who you watching it from? More than 9 times out of 10, the people that look like you. Now, when you look at security guards, look how damaged these people look. Look how unhappy a black security guard looks all the time. Matter of fact, they get hired to look intimidating. The more they probably go on an interview with these devils, and the devil be like, "I need you to look intimidating. I need you to look do that thing you do, little N-word. Do it. Do that thing you do with your ice grill. They only call it an ice grill. Do your ice grill.
Or mean mugging.
They put that on their resume when they go to the job. I know how to ice grill a mean mug. But they only ice grill mean mug people that look like them. But ain't that funny though? Go in a place, a store, a white establishment, and look at the black security guard. I bet you they won't be friendly to black people. They won't be nice to black people. They won't be courteous to black people. Matter of fact, I've seen some incidents happen in the security guards. They said, "Oh, I can't step in." They ain't gonna protect no black people in there, but they protect the property though, right? They definitely protect that. You run out the store with something, they'll chase your ass down. And legally, they're not supposed to even leave the store and chase you down. Once you're outside the door, they're not supposed to run outside the door and take it. You got it already. They can't put their hands on you once you're outside of the store. You know what I'm saying? But they do it all the time. When it's people that look like us, people that look like them. Mm-hmm. But the point of my story is if we got all these people that's supposed to be trained in securing stuff and we can't even secure our own goddamn neighborhood family, that's shameful. That's extremely shameful. Not just coming from the words of Ashe. That's life, family. Like that's the existence. That's a sad, sorry existence for black people to deal with. All these goddamn security guards. And then when it's time to go hold somebody down or go to Long Island, protect the sister out there that was being threatened. You know what I'm saying? Who came? It wasn't no security guards that came. It was the Crips, the gang members that came to support that sister. You know what I'm saying? So where all these security guards, all these armed guards, trained guards?
Hiding, they hiding.
But when it's time to pull up to the battlefield where the people really need it, they ain't offering no guard and they ain't armed at all. You know what I'm saying? They only armed against people that look like us, family. We should really sit there and think about that, yo. The security guards and the correction officer and the police is the same goddamn thing, family.
You know, Sister Pat and Ray Ray. Sister Pat said when the NOI was security on Gates Avenue houses, crime was down. Then they pulled the contract, right? Ray Ray says blacks and Jews pulled the contract. Now, see, this is why I don't let stuff like that fly. The NOI let me, Ashe, Black, or Tad go after Minister Louis Farrakhan. They will give us the business with the quickness. But the Yurugu, you're silent. You see, everybody calls our bluff. That's why Ray Ray and Sister Pat, that's why they were able to do that. Now, you don't see black people getting the Shamram contracts pulled out of Crown Heights because they know better.
After Gavin Cato.
After Gavin, they know better. They know better. We got to deal with that reality. A lot of us are afraid to buck against the system, to do what must be done. Now, I'm not talking about you, Sister Pat, you, Brother Ray Ray. I know how y'all get down. I'm just talking about in general. A lot of our people are afraid. They won't say nothing. Case in point, what took place in Memphis with Tyree Nichols. That black police chief had all the smoke for them black officers, but she ain't have none in Atlanta when they killed that 92-year-old elder. She ain't had nothing. Isn't she brought up? Was she caught up in some sex porn stuff too? See, let me listen. Y'all better be careful who you champion around here.
Yo, Keisha, all of the bouncers that we got in the hood, we got security guards, we got bouncers, we got armed guards. I'll be in the gym, I'll be seeing some of the bouncers. These dudes is huge, look like sumo wrestlers. Huge dudes. You couldn't get past them if you wanted to. These dudes is brolic like this, and they working out just to get better at bouncing people. Just so they can lift people up. You in the club and you a little too drunk, I'm gonna lift your ass up and throw you outside in the street. They lifting weights just to lift your ass up. I wonder if they in the gym lifting weights, thinking about lifting up some of these goddamn oppressors that we got.
Heck
Hell
no.
no. Hell no.
Yes, thank you, Sister Farnessa said, yeah, she was caught up in child sex trafficking and was fired in Atlanta.
Wow.
You see? And you had all of these black people from the NAACP down there, BLM,
Urban League.
saying, yeah, she did the right thing. Y'all so dumb. First of all, don't listen to nothing the NAACP say. Nothing. If you don't know anything, please study that history. Please don't go to them for nothing. Because unless you a cash cow for them, they ain't got nothing to say to you. I was looking at the news the other day and Hazel Duke. I'm like, she's still alive here in New York. She ain't going yet. Jesus Christ, you still ahead. Another thing, black organizations got to know how to pass the torch. Got to know how to pass the torch. Ain't gonna be here forever. Y'all see that Young Republicans Club on Herkimer? Ain't nobody in there over 40. Not a one. Not a one. See what I'm talking about? As Tad said, you go to some of these events, you see people with canes, oxygen masks. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You know, try to be more like, Chef Babette. Y'all know who Chef Babette is?
I don't.
Go on Instagram. This elder is 72, got guns like Ashe. She ain't playing. Preparing for what is to come. Go to @Chef Babette if you think I'm lying. I ain't lying. That's right. That's right, sis. We don't love ourselves or know thyself to protect our community. Come on. Marcia in the check-in. Yes, you don't know. You don't. So you know the mayor of Memphis had to know what she was. Absolutely, he knew. Absolutely. You see what I'm saying? She locked in step to chastise black police officers. Not saying that they shouldn't have been, but where was that energy before?
Listen,
Energy before.
anytime you in any type of fraternal order with
And
white
now I
folks,
saw a truck today. I think Sister Marcia has sent me a clip. Now, because it's Black History Month, you got police jeeps riding around with Black History, red, black and gold, and green colors on it. This is insulting. And a black mayor will allow that to happen, who claimed to know of himself, he should fall down a freaking flight of stairs. This is crazy. It's insulting. I swear. Y'all better pray. I don't see none of them vehicles on where I live at.
But Keisha too.
On that officer. Go ahead.
I never heard of that. That's new to me. That's interesting. But it's interesting that you mentioned that, because a hot topic right now too is what happened at the NFL game with the Rainbow Crew. You know, they had they made, oh wait, was it NFL or hockey? I don't know what it was, but I can't remember. But I know the Rainbow Crew had put some money together. Yeah, it was at the Garden, actually.
Yeah, for the Rangers game. Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they put the money together and they said, oh, wear the flags and all of that. And them devils on them hockey team and them skates, they ain't come out with no flags on their jersey. They said, we ain't wearing them damn flags. So I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of these police officers is thinking the same thing. Racist ass police officers in a locker room in the goddamn precinct talking about, I ain't putting no damn RBG, red, black, and green, red, black, and gold on a police car. They look at that as a goddamn insult too. They hate the damn mayor as well, just like, you know what I'm saying? They don't like that goddamn mayor. You know what I'm saying? So like either way, if they wear the red, black, and green, or red, black, and gold, red, gold, and green, whatever on the truck, these are the stupid things that these politicians do to make us feel like they actually care. You know what I'm saying? It's to pacify us, to make small-minded people be like, oh, okay. Like Keisha said, with the mayor using the slang.
Yeah,
I saw a video where Mayor Eric Adams, the mayor of New York, he was like, oh, so he said something about, oh, I'm gonna go bag a shorty. I can't do that because y'all saw that video. He's like, oh yeah, no, but what if I bag a shorty? He's saying this in City Hall, having a meeting. He's like, what if I bag a shorty?
Ain't he like 60 years old? He sounds like, stupid saying that.
Yeah, but he trying to use this to like tug on the heartstrings of people in the hood to be like, oh, that's cool. He's talking slang. Like, nah, we want tangible results. We don't care about slang. We don't care about the NYPD, one of the most racist in the world when it comes to law enforcement, putting our flag on. That's a slap in the face, because they put a flag on the thing and they ain't even changed nothing to make it better, to make the law enforcement or prison system better. They just putting the flag on and saying, yeah, matter of fact, the flag was put there to tell your ass that that's who we looking for today. We're going to put this flag. No, today we hunting N-words. Put that RBG flag. That's blatant in the goddamn face. Now you want me in the back seat like this. You in the back seat like this. Yeah, they got me. I should have known too. I should have known. They put my flag up in the window, but I didn't know. I didn't catch the signs. But yeah, they hunt blacks today. They hunting us today. Yeah.
Hey, I say, if you don't vote for Biden, you ain't black. And now I'm going to put this hot sauce in my bag and do the nay-nay.
Exactly. Exactly, yo. It's crazy the evident things that they do, like, man, but then some people in 2023 will still fall for it, Keisha. Yo, it's insane, man. Insane. All we could do here is we do our part here. Thorough Black Talk. We don't want to really be preaching to the choir, so that's why we ask our supporters to really go out there, spread this information and this knowledge, and build more warriors. You know what I'm saying? But everybody do what they can. It's not for us to do everything, but if everybody pick up the spear and do a little bit and keep axing at that small axe, cut big tree down. That's the saying. We all work together, family. We can make this place better, yo, for real, yo. But we gotta pull the wool from off of our eyes, and stop acting like we living in some kind of utopia where, it's post-slavery and all of this and all of these terms, and now they got a new term now. Besides ADOS, it's another, I forgot, I heard it. I'm like, when I hear these things,
Is it FBA?
yeah, that one. Yeah. I'm like, now they got a new term for us now. I'm like, man, we can't be black. We can't be African. We can't be now we can't be, listen, fam. I don't know what it is, man. Like, all I know is I'm getting with like-minded people and we building together, and that's what I'm moving forward towards.
So, Brother Black, your final thoughts and comments?
I want to ask a question, Keisha, and y'all can answer as long or short as you want. Before we go, Damar Hamlin, what's y'all opinion on that?
I don't know. I don't know him. I don't know nothing about football, nothing.
Okay.
I am football illiterate. Go ahead.
Okay.
Explain to the audience what you're talking about.
But the mere fact that he caught a heart failure after being juiced up, jabbed up. Listen, we know so many people who have lost their lives messing with that jab. So many people who have chronic illnesses messing with that jab. So many people who have lost their livelihood messing with that jab.
Yeah.
And again, to all of these voters, you voted for politicians that fired heroes because they wouldn't get a jab. See, all of this is on the voters. See, they don't want to listen. A lot of voting people get mad when I say this. But it's the truth. You may be mad what I say, but you can't make me a liar. You put this person in office. You made this person make that decision. So now you got to help our family members who have lost their livelihood, all these illnesses, and so on and so forth because they're getting jabbed up. But thank yourselves for that one.
I'm gonna just say this, brother Black. It's interesting that we was just talking about this with Damar and the ill treatment of black people, because NFL is a black sport. We get white quarterbacks and all of that, but we know who carries the sport, who's the wide receiver, who's the one scoring, who's the coach of the swag. It's black people. You know what I'm saying? But it's interesting that we had an opportunity to talk about changing things and putting the pressure on these team owners and the whole organization of the NFL to make it a safer space for black players, right? But then the energy that we galvanize or they galvanize is totally redirected now, because now what's the hot topic? Rihanna and the Super Bowl. Ain't that what they always do? Oh no, just give them somebody black. Put somebody black on a halftime show. Let them perform. Oh, now we got social justice now, because now we have Beyonce, and then now the next year's Rihanna. Oh, and it's also 2 black women in a row. Oh, so yeah, that's progress.
And you got, somebody messaged me, and you got 2 black quarterbacks too.
Yeah.
Oh, yep, that too. 2 black quarterbacks too. So now we like, oh, okay. So the energy that we could have used to make some productive change, make something really happen, now we pacify now because it's time to watch the Super Bowl. So it's just very interesting how the timing of these things happen and how it plays out. It's like we all know that they always have damage control, and they always have something to do to calm the situation down and to take the temper away from the people, especially the real freedom fighters. You know what I'm saying? So it's not surprising to me that it's starting to not even become a hot topic, and we just moving on to the next thing. But that's the day and age we living in now. It's like we talked about
Yeah.
earlier about being desensitized and stuff. It's like things that are huge that back in the days, 10, 20 years ago, we would have made a big deal, talked about it for the whole year. It's happening so much now that like so much damage to black people is happening so much. We so desensitized that this week is one thing and next week we forgot about it because it's another thing. So it's crazy times we in, man.
Right. Okay. I got to say that. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Okay, I'm gonna take the last word right now, Keisha. I know you got to go in a minute. As far as a lot of things happening in the world, the North and the South Pole are no longer in the areas they used to be in. Now the North Pole is located in Siberia. So I don't know if y'all heard about that. The inner core of the Earth is now spinning in the opposite direction. It actually stopped for a few days, I believe.
Yeah.
Right. There's a lot of things going on behind the scenes. Y'all know I could get political with it, but I'm not going to do that today because we're talking about Black history, so I want to keep it on that. But Nasara Jasara supposedly passed on the 31st, which was a few days ago, which was Monday. I'm not getting into the proven part of it or whatever. I'm just giving y'all the intel that I get. And if you don't know what Nasara Jasara is, it's supposed to be the real economic reset where we supposed to all have money and live like millionaires. Everybody. I'm not talking about the mega rich or the homeless people, you know, in the streets. I'm talking about everybody in general. As far as all of that is concerned, just keep maintaining what you're doing. If you're doing the right thing, we're gonna see victory, I believe, this year. I believe so. And it's gonna come slow. So don't expect it to happen overnight where, you know, you're gonna, you know, be in the dumps today and in the palace tomorrow. So it's gonna happen incrementally. Just keep the faith. I love y'all. I see y'all next week, and peace.
Shout out to Sister Pat. She said the real freedom fighters are all pushing forward, ever backwards, never. Facts. Facts. We know who the real ones are, Sister Pat. And shout out to Sister Pat. We got to get you back on here, probably the last week of Black History Month, so we can get more in depth about the Freedom Party. I'll reach out to you on that next week. We go ahead, Ashe. I'll tell her next. Go ahead, Ashe.
Nah, that's facts. I would love to have Pat back on, yo. You know, that's family. Um, I wanted to say, yeah, Black. I read an article. They just said like a day or two ago that a whole ice cap detached off of Antarctica, and they said it's like I think 4 times the size of New York, and the whole joint just like detached and it's just floating out now. So you know, global warming is a real thing. The ice caps and the North Pole, that's definitely a fact. You know what I'm saying? And that's more of a reason for us to live our lives with purpose. You know what I'm saying? And be very intentional about everything we do, family. Start small. When it comes to your circle, your community, your family members, your friends, be very intentional about the things we do. Very intentional about the things we do for ourselves. And like you said too, brother Black, I read about that Earth, the core of the Earth was spinning the opposite direction. But the thing is, when they tell us about it, it's long gone, done happened already. You know what I'm saying? So this could even be the reason why COVID ran rapid. We don't know. We don't know when they telling us. They always tell us the news and the information after we can't do nothing about it. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it comes to the technology. You know, this
Right.
could be the reason why everybody running around crazy, acting all out of order. You know what I'm saying? So definitely those things are very important, and that's why we have to learn to tap back into nature. Me, what I'm doing personally for myself, I've been working on it for a while, but I'm working on. It's funny, I might think Black. I know you think I'm probably not that into it, but my ESP, I'm trying to heighten my psychic abilities. I'm meditating more often. You know what I'm saying? I'm eating clean. I'm exercising, working out. You know what I'm saying? Because they say we only use a portion of our brains, you know? And then we talk about the spirituality and all of that, and the third eye and all of that. Like we literally spirits, you know what I'm saying? Just in the flesh for this time being. But when we transition, we already know Africans never die. We all know that. It don't matter if you study Kemet, Moors, Ghana, wherever you talk about, it's always a story. They talk about Africans. We never truly die. We just transition. You know what
Yes,
I'm saying?
sir.
So I'm working on my spirit. I'm trying to heighten my spiritual, in every aspect, because once your spirit is stronger, your physical and your mind follows. You know what I'm saying? So family, let's make sure we working on our purpose, living with intention. Kwanzaa just passed. You know, if you celebrate or you don't celebrate, whatever the case is, it's a new year. Utilize this time to set goals for yourself and work on your personal growth. You know what I'm saying? Your character. And once you work on that character, you're gonna materialize anything you want, family. You know what I'm saying? Another income, another job, another house, whatever you want to do, family, we could do it. I hate when people say I can't. I can't. I can't. You only can't because you said you can't. Now your ass can't because you said you can't. You know what I'm saying? We got to start changing our language, the way we talk. Not even the language, but the tone in everything that we say, especially when we talking to ourselves. The tone in your brain, in your mind, not even when you speak, when you think. Change the tone of your thought, family. So many people set themselves up for failure before they even speak, before they even get out of bed. You know what I'm saying? So these are just things that we got to work on. It ain't no spookism. It ain't no. This is African traditionalism we talking about. All of these pieces of wisdom is handed down from African griots, generation to generation. We just ain't studying it, family. So let's get back to our greatness. Let's work on ourselves. You know what I'm saying? I want to see all of our listeners, all of our followers elevate this year. That's what it's all about. I'm trying to see us elevate and get happy and get this freedom, because the overall freedom for all of us might not be in this generation, but if we work towards it, the next generation will get it, and I do believe we'll be able to reap some kind of benefit in this lifetime. You know what I'm saying? From the fruits of our labor. So this your brother Ashe SJ signing out. Always remember, true courage is knowing how to suffer, and the battlefield is where you stand. Sister Keisha.
Thank you to the fire god Ashe and brother Blacksmith, always bringing the real, keeping it always thorough. BK thorough. That's how we do over here. Next week we have plant-based kitchen with us. We're gonna drop the link in the chat so you guys can join us live online and ask the guests questions direct. As Ashe said, get in tune with yourself. Make this year your year to be the best you that you could possibly be. One of the challenges that I put myself through was to eat raw for a minimum of 60 days. That was life changing for me. So much so now, I ate cooked foods for like a week. I think not even a week since Sunday. I ate cooked foods, but my body is out of whack now. So I got to go back. So starting Sunday, I will go back. Right now, I'm just drinking teas and flushing out some of this cooked food that I ate. But, I will only eat cooked foods when I feel the need to. Right now, eating raw is a way of life for me
Wow.
because what it's done
Congratulations.
for me. Thank you, brother, for what it's done for me. Literally, my aches and pains are gone. So I'm making 23 the year that I get in tune with what needs to be done for what is to come. Period. Period. So again, we'll see you black again next week. Keep it 100, keep it BK, keep it thorough. Good night, y'all. We out.
Hey.